Anthony Davis got Anthony Davis even got Player of the Week. So that's good.
As he should.
He should have got
55
last week. They gave it to Ayton last week. And my problem with that is like Ayton had like your typical like big man game. Like he was like 22, 10 and 5 or something like that. Like it wasn't anything like standout. And then like you look at Davis's stats and he's like 40. he's like 40, 20, and 10. And you're like, dude, Davis just like doubled all of his stats to get it. So I'm glad he got it this week. It was long overdue. He needed it. He deserved it. But more so than anything, we're winning, and that's good.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
We got to just keep that up. We got to keep riding this wave. We got the Cavs tomorrow, so that'll be interesting to see how that game goes. That should be a winnable game. And then the next day, because we got back to back, we play the Raptors. I wouldn't be shocked if we lose one of those games. I actually think we might lose that Raptors game.
Really?
Yeah, because
we have the Raptors and who else you said?
The Cavs and the Raptors.
The Cavs and the Raptors. See, I see us losing the Cavs game, but I see us.
I don't think so because LeBron's going to be there for that game. He wasn't. So I think LeBron, and it's in Cleveland. I think LeBron's going to have a monster game. They're going to beat Cleveland because I think it's LeBron in Cleveland to smack his hometown. So I think he has a monster game in Cleveland, and then I think him and Anthony Davis probably rest, and then they end up playing the back-to-back with just Russ and everyone else come against Toronto, and I think we probably lose that game to Toronto. I wouldn't be shocked if we won because I think that's the game that Russ has puts up like a 30-point triple-double. But if we lost, I wouldn't be shocked because I don't think that they're going to play both guys on the back-to-back. Maybe they play LeBron.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like they're going to say either AD or Bron.
Yeah, I think very likely they'll give AD rest. I wouldn't be shocked if they give both of them rest because LeBron keeps spraining his ankle. Like every game, that dude's like rolled his ankle. So I think because the thing is, if they give both of them off against Toronto, Toronto isn't so good to where like our bench guys with Russ can't beat them. You know what I mean? Like we're not playing like the Celtics or something like that, right? We're playing a Toronto team. So I think one, you do that, and two, if they rest Russ, then that gives them that would give those two guys like 4 days or whatever to rest up and get themselves right.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I don't know. The way we're winning right now, like if we win both, I won't be shocked. But I don't know. That Cavs game, I don't know. They're different this year. You know what I mean? I get LeBron will be there for that. I mean, but then again, that is true. Like when LeBron has a game that he's like he feels like he has something to improve, but when it's a game like that, his old team, he may go crazy. He may just explode.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a game because they had a problem because we already played them once. We should have beat them the first time. But that game, one, they had no answer for Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis wasn't playing like a monster like he is right now. He had like a pedestrian game, and they still couldn't stop him. Two, they're undersized guards. Like we were killing them. Like, and that should continue. Like Russ should have a strong game against the Cavs. Like Schroeder should have a strong game against the Cavs. Because like Donovan Mitchell and Garland aren't, Darius Garland, they're not guarding Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder. They're just not, So, I think that's the game. That's the game that I hope Beverly doesn't start. Like, because you have two just not very good defensive backcourt players. Yeah. Like, you should exploit that. Austin Reeves and Walker should be the starting guards. Should be starting next to Schroeder. So my starting five for that would be, it'd be Schroeder, Walker, Austin Reeves, or Troy Brown. I wouldn't mind Troy Brown either. And then Davis or LeBron and Davis. And then because Mobley's going to get killed by LeBron. They're not going to have Allen. So they already have trouble guarding Anthony Davis. They're going to have even more trouble guarding Anthony Davis because they're not going to have their big center.
Yeah. And he like woken up. So like all these earlier teams that we played, it's gonna look different. Like they gotta face a different AD. Like they're not even gonna see the same like AD. Like something has clicked inside him where he was like, like LeBron said, like he's like the dragon or whatever LeBron said, like the dragon is like woken up or whatever. But like I question though, how much do you like? I think I don't know. When I see AD's success, and don't get me wrong, it's him, it really is. But like I gotta give Russ, even if it's just a little bit of credit, I gotta give Russ credit.
A lot of it is Russ. A lot of it is.
And that's why I feel like everybody is forgetting or not seeing on the court. But when you watch the games, a lot of that, again, AD is gonna be an AD, but like the chemistry and the like knowing when to feed and just like I give a lot of credit to Russ because
like 20 of his 55 last night came from Russ.
Well, Russ had 14 assists, I think.
He had 15 assists.
That's crazy.
And like 10 of them were to Anthony Davis.
Yeah, like his feeds last or not 2 nights or whatever the game was, but his feeds, oh my goodness, like just finding tiny little pockets, like
he's doing a real job. He's doing a really good job of just playing, and we've talked about it before, like just playing distributor. And that's the thing. Like I was talking to people in the post game stream. And I was telling people, you got to understand, like, because people were like, oh, like Russ, because he had like 6 points or whatever. Like, people were upset about that. I'm like, you got to understand, that's not his role anymore. Like, the Lakers don't need him to score 40. The Lakers need him to go and lead the team in assists.
As long as AD is going to play like this, they don't need him to score 40.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Russ is that everybody knows he could just go get 20 if he wants to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, you got it. Like, I give Russ all the credit in the world that he's willing to sacrifice that way. He's willing to take a step back and say, okay, I will play distributor. Like the comparison that I made was like if Chris Paul put up, took 3 shots and gave you 6 points and gave you 12 assists, everyone would be ranting and raving, point guard, like, as if the Suns win, everybody would talk about how Chris Paul is the greatest point guard ever. And look at that just masterful display, 12 assists. Just slicing and dicing and controlling the game and blah, 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 blah. That's the point guard. But because it's Russ, people are like, oh, like, Russ, like he had a bad game. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, what bad game? Like the dude did everything he could ask for. And people are like, yeah, but he had like 6 turnovers. I'm like, he's a high usage player. LeBron had 5. Like he's a high usage. He's going to turn the ball over. It's going to happen.
But like when you have a night like 14 assists, I'm sorry, but the 6 turnovers, when we win like that, you overlook that to a certain extent, do you not? Like when we win by that margin, I understand that those turnovers, but when you have such a great defense, how we do, you can kind of overlook some of the turnovers. You know what I mean? Like it's not the end of the world, especially when he's being as productive and as crucial as he's been. You know what I mean? It's not like Russ is like giving us like in like points or rebounds or assists that don't matter. Like a lot of these plays are really crucial if you really think about it. If you take his like clutch plays and you take all of the like those in the moment plays that Russ has, you take them out of the game. There's a lot of these games that we won that we probably either would have probably came really, really close or not have won just because he's running the offense right now. Like he's the best. And it's weird that he's not starting even at that. Like when I think about how he's not starting, I'm just like I go back to it, but it works somehow. Like I don't know. Darvin Ham, when this is all said and done, if he could, he's gonna get kudos. He gets like right now, he already gets some kudos in my book. But
he figured it out. I mean,
he did.
And you got to give Russ a lot of credit, like because
you do.
He's the one that made the sacrifice. I mean, he's done everything. Like
no other player, a lot of other players would not have of his caliber.
I mean, look at Allen,
like you said before, Allen or Carmelo.
Yeah. It literally took Melo getting kicked out of the league to realize, like, I got to change. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. Like Russ, I still think he needs to figure out how to balance the two, right? Like he's gone, which is going to take time. The dude literally changed his game overnight. Like literally, like he went from being a specific player for 15 years or whatever to like completely changing his entire game. Literally, like overnight, was like, okay, fine, I'll come off the bench, I'll be a distributor, this, that, and the other. Like that's
hard to do. Like, exactly, when you only know how to do one thing, that's really hard to do.
Yeah, and so the fact that he was able to do that is a huge testament. But beyond that, he's right now able to fill in that role as distributor. As soon as he can kind of pick it, because he is doing a better job of being patient, of picking and choosing, of just making the smarter play. As soon as he figures out how to put the playmaking with the scoring, watch out, because I think that'll take the Lakers to another level.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about having to go and score 20, because I mean, if you're getting but I'm saying, like, if he can consistently night in and night out go get like 16 points a game and give you 10 plus assists, that's going to take the Lakers to another level. It is. Because he's already giving you like, and this is something else that I made a point, like, I would rather Russ play the way he's playing right now and chip in, like 8 to 10 points or whatever, than like him be in score mode and get us, let's say he goes and gets us like 20 points, because
because it's 36 versus 20.
Exactly. He's equating for more points and more production and getting other guys involved, which is important for like, the season and guys' confidence and all of those things. So yeah, I would rather take Russ, 12 assists and like 8 to 10 points than 20-point Russ with like 2 or 3 assists, because you're getting more overall production. So I really like what we're seeing with Russ, and I hope he keeps it up, which I imagine he will. I don't see him just saying, I don't want to do this no more, right? Like, and then on top of that, Anthony Davis playing the way he's playing, he's the best player on the planet playing this way.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like, look, Giannis is the best player just because of his body of work and like what he's done over the last, several seasons. But this Anthony Davis we're seeing right now, there's nobody better.
Well, at this moment in time, you got to give it to AD.
Yeah, exactly. Because AD can do everything Giannis can and then some. He provides the defense. He can dribble the ball and get downhill, which we've seen. He's not as big of a bulldozer as like Giannis is, but he's still very agile. He can handle the ball like him. He can do everything. But he's also a better shooter. He's a better passer. He's he's better free throw shooter. All of those things. Those are huge, huge. And so I really like what we're seeing from Anthony Davis right now. LeBron seems to have kind of bought in and accepted that like 80's 1, I'm 2, which hopefully he maintains. My concern is, like AD has a bad game or two, which is going to happen because everyone has bad games, right? Like my concern is that happens, and then LeBron kind of gets back to like just kind of being LeBron. But
I mean, another thing is too, kind of going back a little bit. Like we talked about Russ having to like switch his game, but like if you look at AD, I mean, like to the extent too, because he played the 4 back in New Orleans, like that more agile 4. But now I think we could call him a true 5 now. You know what I mean? But a true 5 that can also shoot the ball, decently when he's on.
He's a bigger mismatch at the 5.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a stretch to say a true 5 yet. Maybe just a little bit. But like he's, like you can't look at that last game that we played and say, this guy is like meant to play center. You know what I mean? Like, so he's had to change his game too. That's why I give him credit. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't always had to play like this in his career.
I can't remember who it was, but it was one of like the sports guys for the Lakers was saying this level of Anthony Davis is like Shaquille O'Neal's dominance with like Hakeem's defense.
Yeah,
and I think that's really interesting because it's
so really, we're talking Shaq's offense with
Shaq's dominance.
Shaq's
dominance with Hakeem's defense, like the footwork, the shot blocking, all of that. And like when you think about it, like it sounds silly, but it's really not that far. Like right now, Anthony Davis is that dominant, and he's just bullying everybody. And then on the defensive end, Shaq was good defensively down low, but he was just such a big body. Like Game was the one that could cover ground and be the help defender and actually move with defenders and stuff and his footwork and all that stuff. Right? Like that was a huge thing. And
versus where Shaq just relied on his strength. You bump into Shaq.
Shaq was bigger than everybody.
Exactly.
Shaq was just two centers put into one. And so I mean,
Shaq dominance. That's bold. That's a bold statement, though. That's.
I mean, but it is. But when you put it in perspective, of like now, like what he's doing to like today's NBA, it is that. He's not doing it all on like the perimeter. Like even Embiid, right? Like you see Embiid, like Embiid will go get 50, but it's like he goes like 5 of 6 from 3 and it hits like, and he's like 5 of 6 from like mid range. And then like he has like maybe 20 points on the interior, or it's all free throws or whatever, right? Like Anthony Davis is doing this.
All free throws.
Like Anthony Davis is doing this. Like he put up 44 and 55 on like just in the interior.
That's kind of crazy though too. Yeah, because a lot of those points you got to fight for because he's getting the rebounds and then bring him down, then putting it back up. So like yeah. So no, I mean I see what you're saying. So it's almost to a higher degree of difficulty, almost.
Yeah, well, because I mean even last night, Davis took 3 3-pointers and was 2 of 3 from 3. Right. Yeah. So like he only had 6 points from 3, and then he took 5 or 6 mid-range jumpers, and he was like 3 or 4 of 6, I think, from mid-range. So there's another 8 points. So he had 14 of his 55 was, outside of the bank basically. So I mean he had basically 40 points just dominating in that stretch. That's insane.
Well, I know that is insane, and I'll give him this too. Not only does he has to read the defense. So when Russ comes for the screen, he has to read the defense, roll off, then find where he could finish at the rim. If you really think about it, like some of the traffic lanes that he has to finish in is crazy.
It's insane, and he has everybody on him, guarding him, double teaming him.
That's what I'm saying. There was 2 or 3 people a lot of times. In like these 40 and 50 point games where it's not just like an easy bucket, he has to like fight through contact and then get the bucket.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It is absolutely dominant.
That's what I'm saying. If he starts shooting again,
so he's shooting 33% from 3 this year.
Yeah.
So if he can kind of just maintain that, like we don't need, because I don't want him taking my biggest fear is that he goes up to like 40% from 3, because if that happens, he's going to take like 5 or 6 threes a game, and I don't want that.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah,
dominate. Stick to what's working. Trade Russ? Absolutely not.
No,
unless it's for like Kyrie or something. Here's an interesting thought: if Lakers get into the playoffs, they could end up having MVP, Defensive Player, Coach of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, and maybe Most Improved Player with Reeves and Lonnie, plus LeBron scoring title. It wouldn't shock me. And if they were to, I really think if the Lakers win the championship this year, not saying they will, but if they did, I really think Anthony Davis completes the trifecta. I really think he gets.
So we're talking. Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, you actually just gonna say what I was gonna say. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he gets MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP.
Okay. No, I can see that. That's definitely reachable. Darvin Ham, Coach of the Year. Okay. All right. All right.